Okay, recording.
Hi there, Rob. Nice to see you again. You're actually starting to remind me of Larry King, the way you're laying on your desk there.
Man, I don't have any suspenders on. Just because I'm reading, it's comfortable. Now I understand why he's like that. So you got some questions for me today?
I do, Rob. All right, so here we go. What are some of the concerns people have about your laser?
One of the things that we find is being is misconstrued in the market, because I think the competitors fundamentally don't have something that's made in America. They don't have something that's as innovative. They don't have something that's as easy to learn, as easy to use, as easy to install. They don't have something in the same price range. And so one of the things they're saying is, oh, you got to run around and you got to run and take your stuff from the laser to the embroidery machine and whatever. And I don't know if they sound like that, but that's what I hear. That's what it sounds like when it comes in as a question. So what you have to understand is embroidery makes money when it's stitching. So if the needles aren't moving, then they're not making any money. The problem is that when you're stitching a left chest, which is predominantly all you're doing in North America, you're making, $2.30, $1.95, whatever, and you've got 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 8,000 stitches. So what people are doing is they're running a left chest design all day long, or a cap. It's really not anything to make money about. $45, $50 an hour is really the best you could possibly do with multi-heads. The more heads you have, the more $45, $55 an hour you can make, but that kind of sucks when you have all the overhead. You have health insurance, you got payroll, you got a business phone line, business fax line, business internet costs much more than the home line costs. So the costs are astronomical. Gas goes up, food goes up every day, oil's going to hit $100 a barrel, thread and everything else that is related to embroidery goes up, but the price of embroidery consistently has gone down. I speak to, you speak to, I don't know, 100, 150 embroidery people a day. I speak to less than that, but I see them and we sell to them. And you can't find one person who's had a price increase. So it really sucks. And what we're trying to do with the laser is you're doing a full front, a large decoration, or an etch. So if you're doing the etch, it's never even on the embroidery machine, and you're making $1 net, so profit, 100% profit, no less than that. And it's 10, 12 seconds, okay? If you're doing an applique, you're doing that running stitch, so a full front decoration might only be 2,000 stitches, 1,800 stitches, 2,500 stitches, but full front decoration. And then it's off the embroidery machine. On a bridge laser, it stays on there until the bridge goes back and gets out of the way. You can't have any human traffic, because in some cases with some of the competitive machines, they had people knocked on the floor. I mean, I got video of that. I didn't put it on YouTube. I have video of people getting knocked on the floor. So, thank you very much. Look at that. So, we don't have any of those issues, and what's happening is we're taking it off of the embroidery machine, and it's going to the laser station. Now, the advantage is that you don't have to completely rearrange your operation. You don't have to have huge ceilings. You don't have to have a forklift in there. It's like a refrigerator, a telephone booth physically in size, right? So that's when we say, people said, oh, I don't have room. I said, the beer fridge has to go and the laser has to go in, right? So the laser can stay there like a station, and it just gets put into whatever configuration you have. A lot of people have like a C shape, or they have like two C shapes facing each other. They have an L shape. So the NGL, Next Generation Laser, stands wherever it's convenient, and all those embroidery machines are linked and not physically linked, but are in sync with the embroidery machine. So they'll embroider and they'll take it off, which means they can run a job here, a job there, and then they both go to the laser, which gives them time to put another job in. And on a bridge laser, you can't do that. So what's the difference if this is a bridge laser and you've got to walk all the way down here on your multi-head machines and take off your stuff, or if, this is like, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, or if you've got two 6-head machines in an L shape, you have less walking distance, less travel. So it's a lot more efficient, but people don't see that. And certainly the competitor who doesn't have, meet any of the criteria we meet is not going to say that. Now, out of experience, I guarantee you that the minute that people start to copy this laser in Europe and whatever and bring it over, they're going to change their tune. So remember that. Some people don't buy a laser right away. Some people buy it in 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years. Now remember what the competitor told you, and you said, oh, that's not good. And all of a sudden, oh, we have that laser now. That's the best thing since sliced bread. Now they're stick to your story and say what it is. Either you're telling the truth now or you're not. So that's pretty important. I made another note here. You know, what else would you say if your product cost 4 times more? You wouldn't agree with it, right? And the other point I wanted to make is that nobody in the entire industry, not at any ISS show, not at any NBN show, not at any imprint show, or anything where people are selling equipment, do they offer you that the laser or the device you buy from us is 100% profitable in 90 days or less. They don't have a clue. They're there to knock out a machine, get it in your office, do what they have to, get paid, and get out. There's nobody sitting there talking to you about marketing and all those tools. And that's fundamentally where the problem lies. So I don't care, you know, where your business stands. You need to change something you're doing in marketing, because after seeing all these thousands of embroidery shops, that's where the common area is. These people, and they admit it, are not formally trained in marketing, and they're missing certain tools. And the day of putting an ad in the Yellow Pages for $500 or $1,000 a month is over. When's the last time you looked at the Yellow Pages? You Googled practically everything, or did on the web, right? What are the questions you got?
Can you just explain the profit guarantee to me a little bit?
Well, the fundamental thing about the profit guarantee is that there's certain things that you can do when you market. Now, I won't go into great detail in video because that's what keeps us unique and special. But essentially what you need to do is, most people are 100% reactive in an embroidery business. They're not doing anything proactive to get any business in. They're waiting for the telephone to ring, and they are basically reacting to whatever that order is. And they're so busy, and they're making not a lot of money. Remember, I think I said it to you somewhere, out of over 3,000 plus embroidery businesses, our study showed that the average embroidery owner is working 60 to 80 hours a week and is earning less than $50,000 a year. I'd rather get a job as a manager at a Subway and be home at 5 for my kids than work 60 to 80 hours a week for 50 grand a year. That's like minimum wage practically, right? It's less than that actually. So when you use some of our marketing tools, we give you a system to plug into. So we're giving you all the things you need to have a resume. We're giving you all the collateral, the literature, the brochures that you need based on what you need. Some people have, you know, different people are at different levels. So some people are more organized and have stuff and have their own samples made quickly, and they want to make their own brochures. Some of the customers are really proactive, and the minute that they order the laser, they're coming by or sending up stuff. We're getting samples made to them because they're immediately introducing it to the show, making their best customers aware. But it boils down to most embroidery shops and most businesses derive 80% of their income from 20% of their customers. But what they're not doing is they're not educating their customers on a regular basis and giving them new things to do. And there's a list that's available in our emails that we send you, and it discusses all the things that the NGL can do. Many things the bridge laser can't do because fundamentally they're not set up to manipulate the art that fast, to go on the fly and switch from marble to stainless steel to metal to all the other materials. They don't even have a system to register the garment with a visual laser, like you can literally see the box, the outline. So there's a lot of things that we have patent pending that don't exist, that we don't show on the YouTube video until you're a customer. Those are like little secret weapons that we have, and those things help you produce quicker. So we don't just send the laser there, send a tech and show you the stuff on how to use a laser. We have a marketing system that you plug into. That's from the business called Commercio. And there's a lot of testimonials there from people and a lot of tools that we have. There's also that system where you call in on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, depending what program you're on. And that is basically like a coaching for you. The same way I take CEO coaching, the same way I've taken marketing courses, we've summarized all those materials and put it into something that's related to embroidery. Because when I took these marketing courses, and sometimes I spent a lot of money, they had nothing to do with embroidery. They were great if you were a plumber, if you were a roofer, a carpet cleaner, a lawyer, or you know, a chiropractor or whatever, but that had nothing to relate it to. So I've distilled all that information and made something that we plug these embroidery businesses into, and that makes the difference. Having good equipment, reliable equipment that performs and does stuff quickly and does things that the other embroideries don't have in your area, that's key. But then also knowing how to use that on a marketing basis. And that's why, after all these years of doing that profitable guarantee in 90 days or less, we've never had an issue, never had to write a check, because we were always able to do that And you know what? We're almost able to do it sometimes in the first week or two or the first month, depending upon, what's going on with their business. So it's never been an issue. And that is a huge amount of security. So if these people, I don't want them, if you spend 200 grand or you buy a laser and you spend the same amount of money as us, but it's imported, the money isn't staying in America and the jobs aren't being created here. So that's something you have to think about, because we really are hell-bent on making sure that that the money and the ID, because if I don't have a job and my staff doesn't have a job, my neighbor's not going to have a job. So I have to do my part, and that's important for us. So going back to what I was saying, even if it was the same price, they wouldn't have that guarantee. So you want to get something where you don't sleep at night, or you want to get something where somebody helps you create it. And all I have to do is show them once or twice, and all of a sudden it clicks. It's so much easier if you're doing something athletic, if you have a coach, a mentor, or somebody that guides you through the program. It's like not a big deal. You're really physically fit. You have a perfect body, six-pack of abs, okay? So if you don't do that right, if you weren't shown that, you wouldn't build the definition, the muscle that you have. There's somebody who showed you. You read, you studied, you watched video, got help in the club, whatever, and that's what makes a big difference. And that's the same thing we're doing here, except we're doing it for business, for embroidery. Okay?
Another question for you. As an embroidery company, would I cannibalize my traditional embroidery business?
So these are questions that you get asked too, right? What they're saying is that if I get the laser, will I destroy my embroidery business? And I got two answers for that. One is, so what? Who cares? Okay? And the other is, don't change something that's working. So I'll explain both. Don't change something that's working, because what we don't want to do is disturb what pays the bills right now. But I just said at the beginning of the video, a lot of times these people are not making a tremendous amount of money. They're really busting their butt to make the wages and pay the bills. So the general rule in embroidery is the first shift pays the bills and the second shift is the profit, unless you can sell your garments. But then if you really analyze it and you're really honest, the people who are selling garments direct still aren't making money on embroidery. They're using the embroidery to sell the garment. So it's still a loss leader. You know what a loss leader is, right? That's when the Staples or Best Buy or whatever throws in the ad, some Apple product or some Pioneer or some device that's super cheap, gets the traffic in. They only have 5 per store, but they know it's going to draw in 500 people, and if 500 people go in, somebody else is going to buy something. So embroidery is used by the big garment people as a service, so that you don't have to move the garment to another company and have issues, and you guarantee if there's a mistake, you're going to get the right garment. But it's a loss leader. They do it for cheap, but they do it because they can sell their garment at the margins they want. So if it's working, don't change it for now, because that's what's paying your bills. However, if you can actually convert, excuse me, if you can convert the existing customers and give them something new, and that new thing is equal or less or sometimes more than what the embroidery is that you're doing. So if I can give them a full front decoration and it's less stitches than a left chest, and they're willing to pay $7 to $9 wholesale, which is pretty normal, then that's a lot better for me than doing left chest logos all day long at $1.95 or $2 or $2.25, right? The second thing is that if you offer something unique and different, like the etching, the salespeople need something new every year. They need something to show. So the etching on a left chest, on a left sleeve, takes a matter of seconds, but it's a tone-on-tone decoration. So it's something new and unique. So you have a lot of different tools. And you know what? We got customers doing stainless steel plaques. We're doing marble plaques. They buy a $10 piece of marble. They etch a safety award. They etch employee of the month. They etch student of the month. And they're selling $10 marble for $90. You know how many left chest things you have to do like that? And if you get a plotting laser, that takes like 90 minutes, 45 minutes. On our laser, it takes 2 or 3 minutes. So 2 or 3 minutes and $80 profit is not bad. But forget, let's say you don't want to do anything like that. The point is, if you have customers that chronically are making you work your butt off and you're not making a lot of money, who really cares down the road if you can give new decorations that are more profitable? Yes, keep it as a service. But you naturally will gravitate to the things that are more profitable, and you'll focus on that. And believe me, you have more energy. I've had people, it sounds so corny, but it's so true, they look 10 years younger when they bought the laser. So it's not a cosmetic laser or a miracle machine, but imagine when, like, quite frankly, they were like wiped out, they were disenchanted, they were pissed off and upset at all the years of work they put in, and the business is just sucking for so many years, and it sucks the life out of you. You know, I think I said it somewhere before. My father always said, I'd rather be rich and healthy than poor and sick, and everybody else wants to be like that. So you're a lot happier if you're making a profit and go on vacation, put money away. You know, there's people that we sell the laser to that were trying to get out of the business because they're done, and my beautiful magic selling skills convinced them, the laser convinced, whatever, the whole package came together, they bought the laser, and the reason was I showed them, listen, if you have 2-3 really good years now by doing something different, it's a lot easier to sell your business. If you want to sell your business and it's not profitable, nobody wants to pay you goodwill. What's goodwill? Goodwill is the money that you're potentially going to make 3 or 4 or 5 years down the road, and they're going to pay you for that in advance. But goodwill is worth nothing if your business is losing money or not able to sustain itself, if your business requires you. So the point is to at least bring up your business to a point, if you're at the stage where you want to get rid of it in a couple of years, if you want a retirement. You know, embroidery is complex, laser simple. Embroidery with laser is simple than just embroidery, because embroidery requires fill and tension, and it requires all the complexities with the way the fill works and how it holds and what garment it goes on. Doing anything on the technical garments is a headache because it's so thin, the material. If you do it too tight, you poke holes in it. If you wash it, it gets puckers. You know, all these issues that come up. And there's a lot of, I always say, there's a lot of bad salespeople, a lot of bad lawyers, a lot of bad doctors, but there are good ones. And there's a lot of bad embroiderers out there. So if we can make their life easy and up the quality of what they do, it's worthwhile. Did I answer more than the question?
Yeah, for sure. Another question for you. Some embroider contractors said that their customers are hell-bent on keeping their logo and color, and that etching is not for them. What would you say about that?
Well, it's true, right? Like, and again, I have to go back to what I know. And what I always refer to is that you will find very few people that have been in the industry maybe this long and who still go out and see customers. So when I talk to you, you've got to remember that it's from talking to like over 3,000 embroidery businesses. There's no magazine article, no study, no anything else that has that experience combined and is talking about that. So I have to say, and you as an embroiderer would have to judge on your own, like how much tone-and-tone embroidery you're doing. Because when I see IBM logo, the traditional blue logo, on a golf shirt, I see a gray one on a black and gray golf shirt. I see Coca-Cola, you know, in a gray or silver logo, not a red and white logo. I don't see a Coca-Cola shirt always red and white on a golf course. So the tone-and-tone embroidery is very big, it's very subtle, it's very elegant. And so the person who says, no, my customers don't like it, I challenge that person to take out the new products, the new high-tech dry wicking, moisture management, blah, blah, blah products, and show beautiful garments with a tone-and-tone embroidery and traditional embroidery. And wash both, and watch how this one puckers and how this one doesn't. You know that a lot of those technical garments have seams and have colors built in, because, you know, on a laser, you can't make black blacker, and you can't make navy bluer. It's kind of lost to do those two. But that's a big color that's in the field of selling for the season that's coming up. But those garments often have a component or a part, and I can show some pictures of it, where there's silver, green, or yellow, or there's some color that they can put in that relates to the corporate logo, and that's where we etch. So it's not uncommon for us to put www.ibm.com or whatever the product or service is along here, and nothing else anywhere else. But because it's tone-on-tone, it's subtle, it's elegant, it's very cool. So as a salesperson my whole life, and having been in these people's shoes, I would rather give my customers choices and let them decide. And I'm willing to bet with you at the end of the day, if you give it to them side by side and you give them a price advantage on this one, even if you make the laser etching half the price of the embroidery, it's seconds versus 10-15 minutes, and it's more profitable. And I'd rather discount the decoration and keep the shirt at full pop if I'm selling direct. Or, you know, if you have one choice, the choice is yes or no, 50-50. But if I give you the logo with an applique and embroidery, traditional embroidery, and laser etch, I have a 3-time better chance of closing that deal as a salesperson. So I give them choices. And there's always some person in the room who's always like bitching they don't like that. But there's always, that's generally the person who can't say yes. And they put in their 2 cents. But if you have to make a presentation and you give them choices, you can even split up the order and do a bit of both. And when they try it, that's the fundamental. Give them something that they have choices. Choices give you more sales, bottom line. Less choices, less sales. So I don't agree with that based on my experience. I think that when you give people an alternative, you give something new, something different, something unique, you'll sell more. And you know what? As an embroiderer, you can always offer that. There's not a problem there. You got any other questions, you think?
I have one more question for you.
Okay.
Once in a while I run into embroiderers that say to me that they don't advertise and they only use word of mouth, and that basically, you know, your marketing won't work for them because their customers don't want their competitors and customers to know about them.
No. Can I be honest? So I got no choice, right? I'm on video here. You don't, like, how are you supposed to function as a business if you don't want people to know about what you do? Because there's only 3 ways to grow your business. One is to increase sales, and you have to do it, and it's expensive, and it takes time, and it costs money, but you have to do it. Why? Because customers move, they die, they go bankrupt, they switch suppliers, they switch gears, they do different things. So if you are not gaining new customers, you're dying. So you have to, or else your business is on the way down. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that, because that's just fact. So wake up. The second thing is, if that statement bothers me because the person is either giving you Walmart quantity of business or they're one facet of your business. So if the person who said, you know, I don't really want you to advertise because then my competitors are going to know about you, that person's too small-minded anyways. And that person isn't covering the whole territory, isn't in every business. And guess what? Not every business is their customer. That's why you have to have multiple customers. You have to be stable. So I'd rather have 10 people selling my product and my service and representing whatever I do, rather than have one guy who says that. And a lot of times you have to wear 2 hats now, because it's a conflict of interest for some people. They say, I'm a contractor, and if they knew I was selling direct, they wouldn't use me. Well, guess what? Like, if they give me enough business to be a profitable contractor, I wouldn't have to go in the field. But they've gotten lame. They've downsized. They're not giving me all the business they used to. They're giving me 100 excuses. So I need to shift and adjust. You know, I couldn't stay. Do you think that in 2008, 2009, when the financial crisis in the United States is going through and banks aren't lending money, do you think that was an intelligent time to go and develop a laser in America and start building in America when everything's going to China and being made in China and made cheaper? No, it's like suicidal. But I know that if I'm innovative, creative, and unique, I'm going to get customers in North America where my core market is, right? I know that if I let other people know, it's like saying, if you sell me a laser, you can't sell one to my neighbor. So next time I'm in a Corvette deal, I come home with a red Corvette, and I cut a deal that you, my neighbor, can't buy a red Corvette. That doesn't work in America. So the thing is that there's enough customers, enough people, enough ASI promotional product salespeople that every once in a while it's okay to maybe lose one. But what you have to understand that out of whatever, 12, 17,000 plus embroidery businesses, not everyone is going to buy the laser and adopt. They're slow adopters. They're stubborn. The industry's stubborn. So I want to be the first in my area, and I want to captivate as much business as I can, pay off that laser as fast as possible, and then look for the next greatest thing that's coming around the corner. So I'm number one. I'm innovative. I'm unique. And laser is going to become a core part of embroidery. So you can argue with me that the horse was much better than the car, but there's a point of reality where the car is better, and the airplane is better than the car. So, I mean, you don't even see a payphone anymore hardly, right? Everybody has a cell phone. Who thought that you wouldn't ever used to be a payphone everywhere, every mall, all that hardly exists anymore. You have to change with the times. Embroidery is the same today as it was 40 years ago. The machine is quieter, the machine is faster, the computer's a bit better, the screen is sexier, all that stuff, but it's the same. It's embroidery output, it's stitching. You can't run the machine as fast as they say because you break the thread all the time. So you're still running at, 700, 800, 900 stitches a minute, so it's not a big deal. The laser changes the game, and that's what I want people to consider. Does that answer your question? I know I digress a little bit, but I'm excited about what I do, and I need to sort of get that message home, and I need to cover a broad area. That's why I deviate a little bit.
The point is that the laser is a game changer.
That's a perfect way of saying it. Thanks a lot for asking the question. See ya. Bye.